Hi everyone, good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Hi
Hello.
everyone. Yan, welcome to Boardroom Voices episode 3. And our episode for tonight is Reason Why Home Sourcing is the Next Big Thing. I'm joined right now by my co-host, Jan Espino. Hi Jan.
Hi George, how are you? It's been a rainy several days.
Oh, rainy rin yung
Right.
internet connections.
It is being affected.
Ayan. And yun, siguro hindi na ako magtatagal. We're going to introduce to you guys our very special guest. She's actually the Associate Director of the Philippine Operations of Compunil Staffing USA. And it's a very interesting topic we're going to be discussing tonight kasi nga, this has something to do with a trend that's pretty much sweeping, no, the outsourcing industry, and maganda we can hear it from her, no. So our guest for tonight is none other than Emmy Alcazar. Hi, Emmy.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, George. Good evening, John. And
Evening,
good
Emmy.
evening to everyone.
Yan, kamusta ka naman, Emmy? How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a rainy week for all of us. It's been a very busy week, but I was excited when I'm very much excited when George invited me to be one of the resource speakers. So, and it's been a while. I had a good phone call with George last week, so it was a very nice catch up.
Oo, nako. Marami tayong napagkwentuhan, no? Dami na.
Right.
And hopefully we can continue the discussions. O sige, start na
Sure.
tayo, no? Ako, I have a one big question. And siguro probably give us a little bit of a background of what you're doing right now. Ano ba yung position mo dyan? Ano ba yung nature ng business ninyo? No?
Okay.
Before we go deeper, no? Siguro para introduce muna natin.
All right. So right now, my current role is the Associate Director for Philippine Operations of Compinol Staffing Group. So I was hired directly and working under Compinol Staffing since January of this year. But previously, I was working with one of their subsidiaries when Compinol stepped in. They bought my previous company, Jobletics Pro. Then that was a time that slowly we transitioned to being one of the subsidiaries of Compinol Staffing. So Compinol Staffing Group, we've been operating for 26 years now. Our head office is in New Jersey, and we're serving almost all of the clients in the US. Name the client, we serve it. Non-IT, clinical positions, medical positions, warehouse positions, hospitality, food industry. So IT and non-IT positions, we cater to their staffing services needs. So we have also locations in United Kingdom, in Denmark, in Canada, India, and here in the Philippines. So right now, since I am the Associate Director for Philippine Operations, I have a team that I manage. They are a team of recruiters. And then at the same time, we have also like 24, if I'm not mistaken, 24 Filipino team members who are working for other departments of Compinel. So they are assigned to different departments of Compinel. So right now, we are a total of 36 Filipino team members, and all of us are working from home. So it's we're working remotely. So and I manage all of the operations. We are given clients to recruit, and then at the same time, I manage also the payroll of the whole Filipino team members, any HR concerns, attendance. So it's purely an HR related role as well, and I make sure that everyone is productive, everyone is meeting or hitting their numbers, because we have a weekly, a monthly goal, and a quarterly goal as well. So I make sure that everything in the operations team are working properly.
Yeah, all right.
So
So
that's what I do.
yeah. Yeah, so thank you, Emmy. No, so you mentioned that your main business is staffing, right? And your clients are
Yes.
mostly in the US. So when you say staffing, do you mean that you recruit the employees and then place them in your clients' offices? Uh,
Yes,
and
that's correct.
and those people are employed by the clients directly or by Compunel itself?
So there are several kinds of contracts. So either they are contract to hire, or they will be on a contractual or project based status, and then afterwards it depends on their performance, or it depends on the agreement with the client, and they will be hired directly by the client.
Okay.
So it will always be performance based, but there are instances that it's just a project based, good for 1 year, 6 months. So it really depends on the client.
Okay. And in what sort of functions or positions do you usually recruit for? Is it customer service, IT, or say financial?
Actually, everything, all of the positions,
Mm,
IT, from a VP level down to a warehouse personnel. So we hire, it depends on the request of the client. So like for example, one of the leading soda companies in the US, so it's one of our clients. So
mhm.
we supply warehouse positions for them,
Okay.
delivery drivers, material handlers, warehouse associates. So, and then there's another client that we support medical positions, USRNs, pharmacists, medical
Mm,
assistants. So it really depends. So we have several divisions. We have the healthcare division, we have the IT division, we have the non-IT, we have the hospitality division. So
okay.
there's a lot.
Yeah. So,
Curious lang ako, Emmy, no? You've said that you manage like recruiters here in the Philippines, no?
Yes.
Who are they recruiting? Are you recruiting locally, or are you recruiting internationally?
Internationally. So,
Wow.
um, like for example, there's another team who does recruitment for the manufacturing company. So, if there is a requirement coming from Ohio, New Jersey, Chicago, so once that we receive the job request, then we start sourcing. So we process end-to-end recruitment. So we conduct sourcing, we conduct paper screening, initial interview, and then we endorse them for client interview, or just in case that there's no need for a client interview, then we can already proceed with the onboarding until the time that they report for their first day of work. We assist them. So it's really an end-to-end process.
have you had any cases where you recruited from the Philippines or any other country and then placed these people in the US, or it's just so far purely within the country recruitment, like within the US?
As of the moment, what we're doing is within the US.
Okay, all right. How did your business or the process change, no, during the pandemic? What? Yeah.
So was um it was not really like a huge change, because prior to being directly absorbed by
Mm,
Compinel, my team is already working remotely, and we've been doing this for almost 4 years now.
okay.
So the only thing that have changed is like compliance when it comes to hygiene, social distancing, screening, because we have clients that either they do like video interviews, phone interviews, to avoid the face-to-face contact, or some of them will need to undergo COVID testing. So that is the changes that we need to undergo because of this pandemic.
Okay.
And then at the same time, the one of the challenges is, like for example, there is a requirement that they need to undergo drug testing.
Mm,
So it should be scheduled, and you have to comply with the schedule, because if you will not be going there, you will lose your slot because of the social distancing. And we need to avoid that employees will there will be a lot of people taking drug tests. So there are some sort of delays as well, but we make it sure that everything should follow the schedule. So that is one of the changes that we need to undergo during COVID testing. And we have to be considerate also that if there is work gaps among the candidates, so we have to understand that if they reason out that they needed to stop work because of they're afraid of COVID, or a family member died. So there's a lot of more of like a personal touch, or a personal approach that we understand that
Yeah.
the candidates now, not unlike before, that we have to be very strict with the screening.
All right. Yeah. So you mentioned that you do.
Question lang, Emmy.
Yeah, you
Go ahead,
mentioned
go ahead.
that you do the end-to-end onboarding process, right? Um, does that include the background checking or background screening of the candidates? And who?
Yes.
Yeah, and who does that? Do you do that by yourself? Do you outsource it, or does the client itself handle that process?
So we have clients that they have their own outsourced background check, but we have clients also that is already incorporated in the contracts, in the contract agreement with Compinel. And then we have also a separate department who does the finishing of onboarding, like processing of their payroll documents, processing of their drug testing, their background checks, and then follow-ups if it is needed to do a statewide or countrywide background check. So we have a specific department that takes care of that.
Okay, all right.
Emmy, I'm curious, no, when you were here, no, in setting up your more or less your team, no, what were the challenges that you encountered? What were the typical challenges that you encountered?
Well, some of them are not really ready with their equipments. Because one of part of my pre-screening is they need to have a very good equipment, working equipment. They need to have a very stable internet service.
Yeah.
They need to have like a backup as well, because it's part of my question and answer that what if something will happen, there will be like a power outage, or there will be like an internet issue. So if there will be like a technical issue with your equipment, what will you do? Okay, because if we don't want that operations will be hampered because of those instances. So as much as possible, we need to have a very smooth flowing operations, that everything is still present in spite of. But there were really some instances like last year, Typhoon Rolly. That was a huge challenge for the whole team, because most of the team members are from North Luzon. So all of us are affected. Even I myself was affected because I don't have a generator, which is, I think that is one of the things that you need to produce as well if you would really love to do your work from home smoothly as a backup. And so I wasn't able to really engage with the team because I was only using my phone. And then some of the team members also, they don't have a backup as well. So that there was an effect, but the company understood that there is a typhoon, it's unexpected. So the following day, when everything is already clear, then that was the time that we need to catch up with the performance and attendance of the whole team.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you've been mostly working remotely for the past like 4 years. So even before the pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah. So because I think the biggest challenge for a lot of companies since early last year is how to manage remotely, because a lot of companies, for example, us, used to work within our offices. So what do you think are the challenges, and how did you overcome those challenges when it comes to working remotely, or and more importantly, managing a team remotely?
Um, to be honest, there's really a lot of challenges that you need to overcome. So first is, okay, you are working in the convenience of your home, but at the same time, there are external factors that really affects also. Like for example, if you're a mom, if you're a parent, your kids, there will be background noise, and if you have a pet, and if you are in a farm. So we have this one instance that one of our clients really complained because there's a chicken,
Yeah.
tilaok siya ng tilaok
Mm.
while over the phone. So what one of my team members did was she mentioned that it was a phone like a ringtone of her phone. So naitawid niya. So she was able to explain it properly, and then there's a cat, there's a dog. So those are the disadvantages, background noise, especially if you are assigned in the sales team and you are calling CEOs, gatekeepers, directors. So as much as possible, it needs to be formal, but at the same time, I noticed that people are more patient and understanding when you say that we are working from home because we are not allowed to work in the office now. So we have that kind of spiel as well. But to be honest, we did not even start working in the office ever since. So that is another excuse. And then at the same time, especially if you don't have like a formal office setup at home and your bed is beside you, so there will be instances that you will be sleepy, and then you will slack off. But it really depends on how you motivate yourself. That's what I always remind my team, that you need to have enough rest so that came your shift, you will not be sleepy, and then you need to drink your vitamins. Sometimes there are instances that I am sleepy. But of course, if you need to really accomplish your task for the whole day, then just drink several cups of coffee.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of challenges, but you need to overcome it. And then at the same time, it's also it depends on your discipline, self-discipline. So if you are really disciplined that, hey, even though I'm working from home, I still need to be disciplined. I still need to focus. I still need to deliver. So good thing about it that for the past almost 4 years, I didn't really encounter any super major issue among my team members that they were having they're slacking off, or I am a very understanding director or a manager, that if they needed to extend their break time, they can, as long as there is no urgent deliverables. But if they need to finish their task immediately, then they need to focus. Then they can just log out early.
Yeah.
So there is also flexibility at the same time. So, and then if one of the family team members are sick, or even one of my team members are sick, so I would give way to them that, okay, you can take a rest now, you can take a half day. So there are really a lot of pros and cons working from home, but flexibility, and then being patient, and being also very understanding among your team members, and you have to trust them. You have to give them autonomy as well to work, and just set up like proper goals, and set up their the KPIs that they need to achieve, and always remind them communication is very important. So you have to talk to your team members daily, weekly, set up their goals, appreciate them, give them like anything that can motivate them, like give them incentives. So a lot of factors really. It was not an easy setup, but we were able to survive it for almost 4 years with really And Compino will not be absorbing the team if we are not performing.
Yeah.
So that is one of the biggest achievement also.
All right.
Emmy, what's your biggest learning so far in the past 2 to 3 years? Something that you've really learned that something that stuck with you for the past
Mhm.
3 years in terms of doing this thing. And it could be anything, managing people, managing work, kahit ano, no? Basta anything that you learned, no? Na talagang biggest takeaway mo for the past 3 years.
You have to love your job. That is a number one thing, because if you love your job, um, it will give something back to you. I mean, you will be promoted, you will be financially be compensated, and then at the same time, it was really a huge adjustment. To be honest, that is one of my learning as well, because almost I think three-fourths of my life I've been working office based. So it was really a huge adjustment that if you will be working from home, yes, it is very comfortable because you are at your home. You don't have to travel, you don't have to dress up.
Yeah.
You can have your food available anytime. But really, discipline also is number one thing, because if you don't have any discipline, you will not be able to accomplish a lot of things, because your boss trusted you. But you are working from home. Although you are working from home, you are literally working, and you need to deliver. You need to achieve your deliverables. That is a number one thing also. And then also managing time. That is number one. Because it's not always that your boss would understand you, that you will be having like a flexible schedule because of some family issues. So you need to manage also your time as well, and self-discipline. So those are my main takeaways. And there are things that you need to unlearn. Unlearn in a way that if you're used to doing office-based,
Yeah.
there are some instances, processes, rules that you cannot implement when you are working from home. It's totally
Of course.
different.
Yes.
So I did experience that I have to unlearn several things for me to embrace the new setup that I have, that this is like working from home is already the trend right now. So because when I started working from home, it was not really yet booming. So um I need to undergo a lot of adjustments. So those are the things that I learned, and things that you need to unlearn.
Yeah.
Specifically, what was that, Emmy? Siguro bigyan mo kami example lang. Very specific.
Okay. You really can't micromanage your people. You need to give them autonomy. You need to trust them.
Yeah.
You need to trust them that they will be able to deliver. And even though they are quiet and they are not really that interactive, you need to trust them that they are working, they are finishing the task, and then at the same time, you have to motivate them as well, that okay, you need to have this kind of work ethics, even though that we are also working remotely. We should not abuse this kind of opportunity, because not all people are given this kind of opportunity to work at the comforts of your home. Then you are working for a good company, you're receiving your salary on time. So not all of us, especially now that it's pandemic.
Yeah.
So we have to be in gratitude, and then at the same time we have to have our conscience that we should be able to deliver.
Yeah. So how do you measure and manage productivity remotely compared to any office environment?
Okay, so I only have three KPIs. Okay. Number one, attendance. Number two is your number of submissions. And number three is your number of hires because they are recruiters.
Okay.
Okay. So first, if you're always absent, you will fail the two KPIs. You will unable to deliver.
Yeah.
Even though you're really the top recruiter, I'm telling you, you cannot really catch up for like a day or 2 days of absences. It's quite hard. That is what I noticed also working remotely. And then you have to be very competitive as well.
Okay.
You have to instill that in yourself that I have to be competitive. I need to be present every time so that I will be able to deliver. Because I observed that there's really a huge effect if you don't have a very good attendance.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, so you're working with personal information, because you're recruiting, you're
Mm.
hiring. Um, does your client and Compunel itself have any like information security or data privacy uh, controls or policies that are in place? And can you share us a little bit about them?
Yes, we do have. We have a compliance team who takes care of that. We have a legal team who takes care of the contracts.
Mm.
And before our client enters to an agreement that they will be availing our services, so there should be like quite long preparation. There should be contracts. There should be compliance effort. There should be series of meeting. So it's quite difficult also, but it's really going to the adjustment of new normal that everything we do is we're doing it remotely
Yeah.
because our compliance team is in India.
Okay.
Okay, but we do have also people working in the US. So if just in case that the client needs a personal appearance, so we need to have that kind of arrangement because when we call the client, we're doing it remotely, we're doing it over the phone.
Yeah.
So there should be like a middle person that should be involved in doing like closing the deals, like preparation of the contract, so everything. So and a good thing that the company is they have those people assigned to do those tasks. So and they are the expert of those things. So that's the reason why we are able to deliver also with our clients.
Okay. What sort of people that you're looking for in terms of hiring for your own team, no, for your team of
Mhm.
recruiters? When you hire people to be part of your team, what are you mostly looking for? Is there any particular college course or previous work experience that you think is more valuable than others?
Number one qualification is you have a huge advantage if you worked in a BPO setup.
Okay.
Okay, because working in a BPO setup gives you a different confidence. It gives you a different work ethics. It gives you like you're able to adjust in a very fast-paced environment.
Hmm.
So those are the things that we learn from working in a BPO setup. And then also your communication skills. I really don't check on their educational background. There is an advantage if you're a college graduate, but it is not my number one requirement. So a BPO background, and then if you've done like customer service, if you've done like also if you were a previous virtual assistant, if you've done admin tasks, and then also it's a plus factor if you have a recruitment background.
Yeah.
But actually, when I started to build my team when I was with my former company, there's really no strict requirements like you need to have a recruitment background, you need to be a graduate of 4 years college, and then just a BPO background. You
All
need
right.
to have at least solid 2 years experience of BPO background, and you're able to communicate very well.
Yeah.
You can do multitasking.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you mentioned that you used to work for a BPO company. So can you give a little bit of background on your work experience? What did you do before joining
Mhm.
Compunel?
Okay. So ever since I was an HR practitioner, almost all of my life, I started like as a recruitment assistant, and then slowly I got promoted, and then eventually, the last position that I held before I relocated here in the province is senior HR business partner, which is already considered as a managerial level. I've been with several BPO companies already, like Genpact, Sutherland, I support. I used to work with I support as well, and then small scale BPO companies that into sales, and then medical field. They're into outsourcing as well. So
Mm.
I've been working with a lot of BPO companies already for the past years, and an HR practitioner. So um, that's a good thing also that I was able to incorporate and practice still my profession in what I am doing right now.
Yeah.
Except for there's an additional task because I'm doing also operations. I'm doing also client services. So I'm doing also payroll, but that is also part of human resources. So um, it's a it's a very good thing that I have a very solid background and foundation in human resources, which really helped me a lot.
Yeah. That's good. By the way, which province are you in right now?
I am in Bulacan.
Okay. So not that far from Metro Manila
Too
naman.
far.
Yes.
Okay.
But we have team members who are based in Cebu,
Okay.
yes, in Baguio, in Cavite, so mostly in Luzon area. And hopefully, if I will be able to hire additional people, I am interviewing some people from Davao.
Okay.
I have a question, Amy, just out of curiosity, because I'm sure if you guys are going to be successful with your operations, and like any other company that's outsourced, the trajectory typically is expansion. So my next question there is, do you foresee that in the future your direction might be to secure a physical office space, or are you already very comfortable with this work setup?
Actually, either. There was a previous plan before to establish a physical office here in the Philippines, and actually, some of the executives of the company planned to visit the Philippines, but it didn't push through. And then pandemic happened. So I think as of the moment they are observing if there is really a need for us to establish a physical office here in the Philippines, not unless that they will be adding more services and they would like to open up also their services here in the Philippines, or it will be purely outsourcing. So I really don't know yet if what will be the future plans,
Mm.
but it can be either which.
Yeah. So, in your experience, no, what do you think is the biggest advantage that we Filipinos have, no? Why, especially in the BPO space, why have we been very successful, no, as a
Mhm.
people, as a country during the past couple of decades?
Mhm. Well, Filipinos are very known for being a very hardworking. We are very hard workers, and then at the same time, we're very diligent. The quality of the task that we deliver is really outstanding. That is one of the reasons also that there's a lot of businesses outsourcing their businesses here in the Philippines, and then at the same time, Filipinos are really trustworthy and hardworking, very industrious, resourceful. Um, they're really hungry to earn a lot. So that's the reason why a lot of people are also would like to extend to work overtime. They're after the incentives.
Mm.
So that those are the qualifications or qualities why companies would really love to outsource, and also the um, warm personality of the
Yeah.
Filipinos. So that is one of the reasons also why companies would like to outsource here.
All right.
Emmy, if you were given, let's say, a chance to expand your operations apart from recruitment, what do you think might be other types of operations you'd like to expand on, or for that matter, acquire or build upon, aside from recruitment?
Well, we can offer also like payroll management. We can offer customer service. We can offer administrative tasks, and then we can cater to small to medium businesses.
Mm.
So that is one of the things that maybe we can explore eventually, and also recruitment still. But the other things that I mentioned, customer service, administrative, payroll, we can offer that definitely.
All right.
Okay. What's the doon naman tayo sa ano no, sa management
Mm.
style ni Emmy no. You've mentioned kanina that you know, as much as possible, one of the things that you learned is not to micromanage. But ikaw as a manager, as an operations person, what's one of the first kasi meron kang mga default ano practices or best practices that you feel is very effective no, in trying to manage a team. What are these practices that we can probably learn from?
You need to know your people, not only by their names, by their positions, but you need to know them by who they are, their family background, what motivates them, what boosts their morale, what is their background, what were their challenges before. So everything, it's really kumbaga pumapasok ng pagiging HR ko na I need to profile them. So I would usually have different approaches to my team members. So, like for example, I'm very engaging with my team member, like may nasagasaang alaga. So I have to check on them kasi it affects also their performance.
Yeah.
They're unable to concentrate. So if they feel that you're really concerned to them, not just all about like, hey, you need to deliver, but you really have to motivate them. Then, like for example, another thing is okay, your one of your daughters are will be celebrating her birthday this coming September. So if you are able to have a perfect attendance, if you are able to reach your goals, you will be receiving additional incentives.
Mm.
So you can incorporate their performance, like you have to check their performance, you have to motivate them, then at the same time you have to incorporate that okay, if you perform well, you will be able to send your siblings to a very good school. You will be able to travel. So you have to know the things that motivates them.
Yeah.
And you have to know them personally. So I remember this from one of my previous mentor, that you need to know your employees not only by their employee numbers, by their names, by their position titles, but you need to know them on a personal note. Because, like for example, George, kamusta na yung anak mo? Kamusta na yung ulisan mo? Because I know George on a personal level. And if kinamusta mo siya on that note, the employee would feel that, okay, my boss or my employer is concerned about me.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and with that, they will be motivated more. They will give you their loyalty. And then you will not be creating like teammates, but you will be creating a second family. Because it's very nice when employees will tell there are relatives that I found my second family with my teammates,
Yeah.
with my company,
Yeah.
because it means that they're happily working
Mm.
with the company.
Yeah. I think George might have dropped off, no? Probably
Mhm.
because of his network
Internet.
connection. Yeah. So anyway, if Amy, if someone is listening right now who's just starting in the HR or
Mhm.
recruitment field, you know, what advice can you give him or her?
Um, to be honest, I'm quite strict. Especially um when it comes to like submitting your resume. That is the number one thing because that is your step one. Okay. So you need to have a very presentable resume. You need to highlight your work experiences. You have to remove your personal information because that is not needed in the position that you are applying for. And then you need to know the position that you're applying for. So what if it's not related and you want to jump into a new career? So you need to do a research. Okay. So like for example, it was a totally different thing when I decided that okay, I would like to start a career working from home.
Mm.
I have this position already. I held the position already before I resigned, before I relocated, and then I decided to start from scratch. So I started as a customer service associate. So what I did was I did a research about the company. I did research about the position, the latest trends about working from home. I got some advice also from my previous colleagues who were doing work from home setup as well. So you really need to do a lot of things. You need to do a lot of preparation before you start like a career in recruitment, a career as a virtual assistant or a freelancer. Actually, the candidates right now are very lucky because there are already a lot of materials available online. There are even what do you call this group of people who are offering trainings,
Mm.
a lot of reading materials. You can do a lot of research. There's a lot of videos available so that you can really pass the interviews. There are a lot of instructional videos. So the candidates right now are very lucky. They
Yeah.
just need to do a research.
Yeah. I guess applying to jobs now is very different from 10 years ago because of the advancements in technology, you know. So just when it comes to the HR function or your actual job or work, how did it change over the years? Say over the past 10 years. How different is it recruiting now versus say 10 years ago or even earlier? What in terms of the tools that you're using, the types of applicants that
Mhm.
you're getting? How different is
It's
it?
really, it's really a huge change. 360. Um, there were a lot of updates. There were a lot of changes. You need to use a lot of tools.
Mm.
Previously, we don't have this kind of Zoom. We don't have Skype. We don't have that. We cannot conduct online
Reviews.
interviews.
Yeah.
We have to do it face to face.
Or via
And
phone.
then,
It used to be
yeah,
via
via phone.
just phone, no? So you don't see each other.
Right. And you need to be familiarized. You have to be a tech savvy. You need to know how to browse the internet because you will be viewing the job vacancies online. You need to be familiarized with a lot of job boards.
Yeah.
There's a lot of companies also who does their what do you call this advertisement in social media platforms.
Mm.
So you need to be aware of okay, what do you get if you check on Twitter, what do you get if you check on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, because all of them, there are all social medias, but they have different functions, or they have different types. So you really need to be aware also of the latest trends in sourcing,
Yeah.
social media, and then also you can also do a background check using the social media accounts of the candidate.
Yeah.
You will be able to see what type of candidate is that person if you check on the social media, the way he posts, his profile, if it is formal. So
Yeah.
there's actually a lot of things already that you need to take into consideration, and you have to adapt over the years.
Yeah.
And honestly, inabutan ko yung job ads sa newspaper.
Newspapers, yes, yes. That's
So,
correct.
nag-a-apply ako before sa newspaper lang. I caught the vacancy, tapos hahanapin ko yung company sa dun sa information that was provided in the job ad. Pupunta ako doon, I'll be submitting my resume, and then at the same time, I noticed that there's really a lot of formats of resumes right now. Pabonggahan,
Yeah.
meron pang mga like a video resume. So
Wow.
I did encounter that. So really you really need to be you will need to able to adapt to
Yeah.
the fast-paced changing of technology, digital marketing, social media. So but the good thing about it is everything is available online.
Yeah.
You just
So,
have to be resourceful.
so how do you use social media for recruitment? Have you had a lot of success finding good candidates or recruiting candidates over, say, Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn?
Well, a number one source, well, it really depends. So, like for example, if you are going to recruit people for warehouse positions, not all of them uses social media. Not all of them have Facebook, okay? And it's only here in the Philippines that Facebook is very popular, but in other countries
Yeah.
it's not,
Mm.
okay? So it really depends. For professional positions, you can check on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
And then you have also a lot of job boards that you can check. And when it comes to like results, it really depends on the position. Like for example, another thing is if you are hiring nurses, either you create a community of your own and then you will invite nurses to join, and then do the networking, okay?
Yeah.
Or you will be joining a lot of groups in Facebook, a lot of professional groups in LinkedIn. So you really need to adapt with the latest trends right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, by the way, a few months ago, I'm not sure if you saw that. No, there was a trending topic on social media regarding an applicant here in the Philippines. No, that was demanding a very very high starting salary. I'm not sure if you got to know that. So, what have you noticed in terms of the difference between new applicants, no, meaning new graduates now versus, for example, new graduates 15 or 20 years ago, no, or 10 years ago? What in terms of what are they looking for? Are they looking for more salary? Or are they looking at other factors, no, for them to decide if they want to join your company?
Well, I read about that, and I was surprised. Maybe it's because first is millennials nowadays are really really confident, and all of the informations are provided to them because they can just do a lot of research.
Yeah.
Curriculums in schools have changed a lot. So there is already like a preparation for their courses, and then I even encountered the candidate who finished like there's a course for call center management. So I think they are demanding for a higher pay because they think that they know a lot already because all of the informations are available online. But what I'm looking for is still the skills.
Mm.
and the work ethics.
Okay.
Skills can be taught, but also work ethics is also another thing. So you cannot easily find a good person that has a good ethics, and
Mm.
then at the same time, a combination of the skills. So really, you need to learn to like balance when it comes to like looking for candidates. So it's really a total approach right now.
So if you need to choose between skills and attitude, uh, uh, what will you pick? Just one. A highly skilled person but with potentially questionable attitude, or a someone with very good attitude but uh, uh, has no has do not have the required skill.
For me, I will choose someone who's a very good attitude.
Okay.
Because if you have a good attitude, you have discipline in yourself.
Mm.
You have a very good personality. You have a good work ethic. So everything is like already a package. And then if you have that, you're open for new learnings. You
Yeah.
are humble to learn new things. You are humble to adjust to different changes. You are able to, you are open for suggestions, or you will be able to receive more training. So I would choose for attitude.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And I think I totally agree with that. No. So
Mm.
skills can be taught, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
skills can be taught.
But attitude, it's very difficult to change someone. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, Emmy, the no no the 1 hour flew so fast because
Indeed.
we were enjoying. Unfortunately, I think George would not be able to connect again because of technical difficulties. I guess partly because of the weather.
Mm.
So I guess before we end, we'll give you a few minutes, no, to maybe uh, talk more about the services of your company. Maybe someone is listening who might want to engage your services, or maybe even join your team in the future. No,
Mhm.
if you decide you need more resources.
Okay. So first is I would like to thank you, John and George, for this opportunity, for me to share my journey,
Mm.
for me to share my experience. Um, it was not an easy journey because there's a lot of factors that you need to consider, and at the same time you have to be literally be open-minded and open to learn new things.
Mm.
Okay. If you would really like to establish a career working from home, first is number one, you need to have an equipment. Okay, because that's a number one factor. Not all companies provide their own equipment.
Do you provide?
Okay.
Did you provide your team with all the IT equipment?
No, no. It was really our own resources,
Okay.
even the internet. But right now, we're receiving some incentives, like we
Incentive.
have an internet allowance, in case that there's a need to repair our equipments, then we can do reimbursement.
Sure.
Okay, so we have a process for that.
Okay.
And then you have to adjust with the latest trends. You need to do a lot of research, and be ready to accept also rejections,
Okay.
because not all the time that if you submit your application, you are already 100% hired.
Mm.
No, there's a lot of competition right now, not only among Filipinos, but also with other nationalities.
Okay.
So you really need to highlight your skills.
Mm.
You really need to highlight your good work ethics. You need to highlight. You really have to sell yourself. That's the number one thing. And then for those who would be in the near future, who would be interested in joining our team, then Of course, you have to be prepared. Okay, it will be a plus factor if you took time to research about the company, about the position, and then just pass the whole interview process. It's when it comes to like interview process, joining our team, it's very easy, but the duration of like getting in, because like it depends on what department you will be assigned. So like for example, we're looking for healthcare recruiters. We're very strict. They need to have a US healthcare recruitment background,
Okay.
because since that we don't have enough time to train them, because it's kind of
Mm,
complicated hiring
yeah.
USRNs. You need to check their certifications, their work experiences, do a lot of background checks. So you need to be familiarized already with the process so that you can easily jump in.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another thing is, for my own team, I need to have someone right now um, with recruitment background. So you need to have at least 1 year of recruitment experience, so that you know how to navigate job boards. You can you know how to use Boolean search. You know how to do sourcing,
Yeah.
because not everything can be provided by the company. So you have to be resourceful as well.
Yeah. Okay. So if they want to
So,
apply, yeah. If they want to apply, do they go to your website or to send you an email?
well, for local positions, I mean, those who would like to join my team,
Yeah.
they can send me an email.
Okay.
So, and I'm very engaged
Yeah.
in my email. I can easily reply to them. They can also send me message through my LinkedIn profile, and I would be very straightforward, and I would say that okay, I think there's no opening position for you
Yeah.
right now. I suggest that you can check on this. I would provide also suggestions
All
and
right.
a personal advice for candidates.
That's very nice. I'm sure they will appreciate that. Yeah. So again, thank you, Emmy. Thanks for taking the time. I know you probably are busy, no? So thank you for joining, and to everyone listening, thank you again, and we hope to see you again next week in our future episode. All right. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you, John and George,
Yeah.
for this opportunity.
All
Thank
right. Thank you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.